So another episode of Friday Night Smackdown came and went. This episode opened up with a brief recap of what we saw on Saturday night's main event, more in particular during the main event match between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. This acted as an intro for Cody Rhodes to kick the show off. We had him being interrupted by Aleister Black, and this led into the general manager Nick Aldis doing the typical thing that we always see on SmackDown now, to a point where it's sort of almost become a bit of a running joke, where Nick Aldis is coming out and going, "Well, thank God, guys, you had this altercation, because this is going to be our main event." Presumably, they don't just plan or book main events in advance here. That's not how Nick Aldis goes. We're just totally reliant on some altercation to go down so that they can provide a main event. So yeah, this was the main event that we got. We got Cody Rhodes versus Aleister Black was locked in for our main event. We then moved on to the open challenge by Ilya Dragunov. This predictably meant that Ciampa was going to be the first to come out, as we're back to last week where he came out, but Nathan Fraser had come out beforehand, so Ciampa wasn't going to let that happen 2 weeks in a row. So he was first to come out, and then there was going to be another big subversion, because Ilya Dragunov didn't accept from Ciampa, and instead gave it to his partner Gargano. So that is a match that we got, which just felt a little bit of an odd swerve, because I was like, it's not really an open challenge if you're cherry picking your opponent. So yeah, that just felt a bit of an odd swerve. But Gargano and Dragunov provided a really solid in-ring match here. This was followed by this resulted in, rather predictably, Ilya Dragunov picking up a win, but which I think was the right decision. But because we had this swerve from Ciampa to Gargano, I thought it would have been, just to play devil's advocate, I thought it would have been kind of a little bit intriguing if we had the Gargano actually pick up a win here, and then see what that could mean between the dynamic between Ciampa and Gargano. But yeah, Ilya Dragunov retaining. So we had this backstage segment then between Nick Aldis and Sami Zayn, where Sami Zayn wanted to go out and be kind of backup for Rey Fenix in his match against the MFTs. Nick Aldis was saying that he still wasn't medically clear, so he wasn't going to allow him to even just be present at ringside. Sami Zayn issued this warning that he wasn't going to stand on the sidelines too much longer. And then we just had another humorous, really funny segment with R-Truth, who always seems to deliver, where he was demanding that he wanted to be put into the draw to face John Cena, Nick Aldis explaining that he was already in the draw. We had lots of innuendos in this backstage segment. Just really funny, the silly segment that just served its purpose. Purpose made me chuckle. So yeah, we moved on to to a new women's champion, Jade Cargill, coming out. Very short promo where she basically just came to the ring saying, "I am that bitch," and then just walks off, which was really short but effective, because what else are expecting to come out? And there was, and as I was saying in my review of Saturday night's main event, it feels a little bit, the end goal just seems Bianca Belair, right? And there's no one really on SmackDown or that you could really pitch Jade Cargill against that would seem enticing. That is no one apart from obviously Charlotte friggin' Flair. So we had Charlotte Flair coming out. Charlotte Flair was coming out because she had this match between Nia Jax, but in doing so, there was this little tease about this could be the next thing being looked at. This led to a match between, as I said, between Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax. It ended up with Nia Jax picking up a shock victory after we had the debut of Lash Legend coming out and attacking Alexa Bliss. This causing the distraction for Nia Jax to pick up a win. And just encompassing this match in this segment and all, it just felt a little bit messy for me. It didn't feel so I just didn't feel like, obviously we had this Jade Cargill Charlotte Flair tease, which kind of worked in there. Like I said, I think the end goal here is just Jade Cargill against Bianca Belair, but until Bianca Belair is clear to return again, you kind of need to fill that void somewhere. And like I said, I think Charlotte Flair is as bigger star as you can really make to kind of insert into that. So I think that it's I think that she's would be the best placeholder that SmackDown has on offer to fulfill that role. But just the way that all this match wrapped up with the interaction between Lash Legend and the backstage segment this went on with Charlotte Flair and Lash Legend saying that they wanted to go to the top. Presumably that was why they targeted Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss with them being the tag team champions. But the Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are already locked in, currently with a little bit of a feud between the Kabuki Warriors, which is will be playing out on Monday Night Raw. We had a little bit of a front of that where we had this backstage segment with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss following this attack, where Alexa Bliss was seemingly picking up some medical treatment, and it was the Oscar and the Kabuki Warriors dressed up as doctors. Oscar delivered the mist to Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. So we had this little segment with the Kabuki Warriors, or the Kabuki Doctors, I guess in this case. And it was a little segment that I did find really fun, but just encompassing all of that stuff into with Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, the Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill tease, and the eruption between Nia Jax and Lash Legend and the tag teams, and them going after Charlotte and Alexa. It just felt a little bit convoluted. It just felt a little bit messy, and it just felt a little bit more messier than it really needed to. Do you know what I mean? I think we could have absolutely had Lash Legend get called up. We could have we could have Nia Jax and Lash Legend as a tag team. But you could have just had but I feel you could have just kept that off for now, and you could have just had Oscar coming out, delivering the blue mist to Alexa Bliss, and it would have and that would have caused a distraction for Nia Jax to pick up a win, and the result would have ultimately just been the same. Again, this aspect brings me onto another thing as well, which I feel really mixed on, which is this idea of our wrestling talent just moving between rosters at this point. Because on one hand, I really like I like the fact that we don't have to just wait for a window here now, and they can just weave in and out as they're needed, as the storylines and the feuds require them to. I think that's really strong, but I do feel that sometimes the WWE gets bogged down and it gets a little bit repetitive and it can feel a little bit messy, and I feel like a big part of that is because there's too much going on here. We had this other tease between between obviously the MFTs and the Wyatt Six in the backstage segment, and it got me thinking. I love the Wyatt Six, but I had to remind myself that the Wyatt Six are actually the SmackDown Tag Team Champions still, and it feels like an eternity since we actually had like a title defense. They've just been sort of playing about in the backstage, working up to this thing, and it just feels a little bit weird. And yeah, like I said, you got all of it examples of this where just you got all these talents and they're just not getting enough focus. And I think that the big part of that is because the roster is just so overstuffed. So when you kind of just start bringing in people then from NXT and AAA and all that, it just kind of makes it even a little, it edges things out a little bit even more, and it just feels, and to kind of take that a point about the Wyatt Six being the tag team champions, not getting enough kind of like defenses and not getting enough action from them. This was another thing why I felt this segment between Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax and Lash Legend and Alexa Bliss and all that was still just kind of like a little bit messy, because if you are going to go with Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill match, that kind of detracts from the tag team division a bit, and it feels like at this point the division needs Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair as a tag team. So yeah, it just felt really convoluted and really kind of messy, so yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of that. We moved on to the tournament to determine John Cena's opponent. We had announced that we were going to have a Miz versus Jey Uso, and then we had LA Knight picking a mystery opponent. We were going to find out next week. So that puts a lot of stock onto. I mean, I'm guessing we could possibly, likely heard it could be somebody against the Vision, possibly Bron Breakker, who knows? But it does. But this idea of creating this mystery opponent, it kind of goes. It puts quite a bit of hype onto this mystery opponent going into it, so it feels like almost kind of premeditated an LA Knight loss in the first round because of that, because it just feels if you're going to build or create all this build towards this mystery opponent and then that mystery opponent ends up losing, that just feels kind of anticlimactic. So yeah, we kind of like predicting whoever it is. We're predicting LA Knight is gonna lose in the first round here again, which sucks for him. It really does, because he's just another talent who I just don't feel like is really getting enough credit at the minute. I think that he deserves a much bigger push than what he's getting, Yeah, so but yeah, we then had the biggest WTF moment in this episode where we had the Chelsea Green against Julia for the US title, and not only was this a really short match, but it was a really short match that resulted in Chelsea Green picking up a win here. She picked up a win with her feet on the ropes. And yeah, just really short, real quick fire title change here. And it just fell odd. It just felt I can't even be like yeah, I can't even begin to process all this. I mean, I love Julia as a champion. Again, I feel like it's another title reign that's got a little bit lost somewhere on SmackDown. I don't think that it's been as uh, as defined as it can be. And again, I don't think that's Julia's fault. I think Julia, there's a lot of potential with Julia. I think there's a lot of potential you can make with a Julia title run. I just don't think this run has been really lived up to that expectation. So with that in mind, it does make sense maybe to change the titles and try and bring fresh life into this. But how many times have we been here? Seriously, how many times have we said this about a title change? We had it with the War Raiders when the titles changed over to the New Day, and we were saying how that was the right decision because it just injected some fresh life into this now, and it just all never kind of came to pass. And I don't see any reason why having the title on Chelsea Green would inject some fresh life into this title race neither. So it all just so yeah. I felt like Julia was just another talent that was just being kind of done dirty here, and I risk of sounding like Drew McIntyre. Yeah, it feels like a lot of talent is getting screwed over on SmackDown here. So yeah, yeah, just all I can say is I didn't like it. I don't like it. I like Chelsea Green as well. But yeah, I just didn't like this. So so yeah, we then moved on to the match between Ray Phoenix against Tally Tonga of the MFTs. This victory ended up with Tally Tonga picking up a win. And then we had our main event between Cody Rhodes and Aleister Black. Sorry, just before moving on, I have to say that Ray Phoenix and this match between Ray Phoenix and Tally Tonga was another real solid match. Just real great in ring performances, but yeah, we had this main event between Cody Rhodes and Aleister Black, and. Rather predictably, this ended up in shenanigans as well. A real chaotic end to this episode of SmackDown, where predictably we had Drew McIntyre come out to intervene. He did this by with a claymore to the referee, and then we had. And then we basically had this ended up turning into kind of a 2-on-1 where Aleister Black and Drew McIntyre were beating down Cody Rhodes. Obviously, Aleister Black being locked in with this feud between Damian Priest meant that Damian Priest came out to make a save here. And it just, yeah, it all ended up in chaos. And then Nick Aldis come out to say that Drew McIntyre was suspended. This all played into the idea of what a promo that Cody was making at the beginning of the episode, where he was saying that Drew McIntyre was kind of just is self-sabotaging wrestling. It all kind of plays into that. It's just, yeah, it, like I said, it all just feels, I think that there's a reason to kind of keep Drew McIntyre in this sort of um, title title picture. I think there's all I was saying on my review of Saturday night's main event that there is a reason to maybe run this back at a bigger PLE, where the odds of a title change are going to be slightly better. Um, but yeah, it just felt a little bit messy, and yeah, I didn't feel like I felt on the whole this episode of SmackDown was a little bit lackluster, I have to say. So yeah, we'll just have to see how these plot threads play out going forward, and how that contributes towards a build towards Survivor Series and all that. But yeah. Just felt a little bit messy this some of the segments in this episode. So yeah, that pretty much is it to a close. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because we will always be uploading regular WWE content onto this channel. And yeah, feel free to let me know down in the comment section about what your own thoughts were on this episode of SmackDown. And until next time, I will see you guys on the next video. You guys take care.